podcasts, merch, and blogs. This is the Rebel Yell podcast, supported by MK Window Cleaning and Price Jones Electrical.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Rebel Yell podcast of the 24-25 season, proudly sponsored by MK Window Cleaning, Price Jones Electrical, the original sponsors of podcasts here at Worthing FC on behalf of the Sports Association. Chaps, how are we doing tonight? Spencer, we okay, mate?
Evening, all good, all good.
Yeah, Jacko, you okay, mate?
I'm all right,
we
thank
all
you.
Good. We're standing at Woodside Road. You have little faith over there. Said, said every month I said the stand's going to be ready. It is actually nearly ready.
It looks
Nearly.
It looks really good, though,
It's
doesn't
very imposing, doesn't it?
And actually, the dugouts.
The dugouts are in now, yeah. The very European flair, Spencer. I know you like a bit of European football. I think the dugouts look very European, like night of the Champions League or something, would you say?
Yeah, if you take the seats out and actually dig them out, they'd look more like your original sort of 1970s dugouts where the manager was eye level with the pitch.
Yeah. Maybe I can see them being covered in sponsorship very soon, can't you? So I don't think it'll be see-through glass for long.
Rebel Yell.
Oh, well, Keith, you're listening. Have a little shout. Guys, just a little admin before we crack on. Membership's still available for the Worthing FC Supporters Association. And I think we've got a live podcast planned for December. Date to be confirmed.
we have.
Christmas party. And if you're a member and you're in the attendance of the night, there's going to be a special cash prize draw just for those in attendance. So it gives you even more reason to come along to the live podcast when we're announced. So keep an eye on the socials and there'll be a live draw.
Yeah, keep an eye out for us on the store at the Maidstone game.
Yep, 100%. We'll be selling our shirts. We'll be peddling our merch, won't we, Spence? Peddling our merch, peddling the merchandise, and memberships for £10 for adults, £5 for children, and $25 for a family of 4. 50/50 is also selling really well now. We can pay by card, so do come down. We've sort of decided, because the first one hasn't been claimed for the first home game of the season, so what we've done is it'll be you'll have until the next home game to claim it. Otherwise, it'll go into a charity pot, which we will. Is it 2 games or 1 game? I think it's 1 game, isn't it?
2 games.
2 games? 2 games, and it'll go into a charity pot that will be donated at the end of the season. Guys, this week been a pretty big week for the club, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it has.
Yeah.
There's a little film, isn't there?
What YouTube video? Was it a bunch of amateurs? Worthing.
Much bigger.
We were on
much
it.
bigger.
Yeah, we were on it. So yeah, that was a bunch of amateurs in that respect, Spence. Wow. If you've been living under a rock, the club that George built, the documentary has been being filmed for the past year and a bit here at the club. Finally got its release on Tuesday night,
half past 10.
Yeah. 10:30 after the Champions League, as George put on his social media. It was the Man City game was undercard to the main event. I did quite like that.
Available for the rest of time on Discovery Plus.
And funnily enough, soon to be international. George told me he's going to be interviewed by CNN this week, I think. So there you go.
Is he?
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people in the States who are going to be watching it.
Yeah, there you go. So, and if you haven't got TNT Sports, don't worry. If you're a Sky customer, you get Discovery Plus for free on the basic channel, or it's $3.99 a month. It's like, sign up for a month is worth it for £4. I'd pay more than that to see that film.
It's well worth the £4 to see it.
Well, I think if you haven't already listened, let's just play the guys and girls who listen to the podcast. Let's play them the trailer for the documentary.
As a player, he was just fearless.
I remember waking up and they started doing checks.
They came through and said, he'll never walk again.
I don't want to live like this forever. I want to get out and do something.
The club was in a lot of debt.
And it was all looking very, very bleak.
So when he said, I'm going to buy it, Mum.
We're a bit up and down at the moment, going into the unknown.
The club that George built. Stream now, only on Discovery Plus.
Oh, look what that technology can do now. We can play trailers for it, boys. How
Have we got copyright for that, by the way?
I'm advertising Discovery Plus. I think it's all right.
I have to admit, every time when I saw that trailer, I got quite emotional.
Yeah, goosebumps, isn't it?
And yeah,
it's fantastic. I mean, it is. But George, I mean, he's done so much for his club, and I think one of the things that Hayden, who's one of the away boys, and used to be the media guy, said when he was interviewed in the documentary that it wouldn't just be the club that George would have been loved forever. He will be. He saved the club. We look at it now. We're standing. You look at this new stand. But anyway, guys, I think I sat down yesterday with George to speak. He was going to come on tonight, but he's got a board meeting. He said there's lots of things to talk about, and I'm sure there is. So let's listen to George's interview with me yesterday.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
George, welcome back to the Rebel Yell Podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Yeah, all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks for asking. I mean, it's been a whirlwind week for not only the club but yourself, I think, because you've been here, there and everywhere doing media and interviews galore, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a very surreal last week, to be honest. Yeah, we're up in Manchester the other day doing the BBC stuff, and then got a few more bits on today. So yeah, no, it's been crazy, but it's been amazing to see the response to the documentary. I'm glad people are enjoying it, and yeah, all good stuff.
Well, I was going to say, also, let's take it back about a week or so, because we had the premiere of the documentary at the Dome. I mean, that was completely full, not a seat in the house that was spare. I mean, it was just we kind of joked with each other saying it's probably the biggest thing that's happened to Worthing in a very long time, and to see sort of a premiere of a film and the Dome Cinema packed out was fantastic. What were your sort of initial thoughts of it?
I was just, yeah, like you. I mean, it's just very surreal. Obviously, being from Worthing, obviously loving the club, loving the town, and then to be able to link up with the Dome to do the premiere was just incredible. And to get that many people there at short notice, it was just really special to be able to sort of watch and celebrate the documentary with loads of, well, so many people that have done so much for the club and for the town and the community. So yeah, no, it was just a really, really special evening, and one I'll never forget. And it was nice to watch the documentary and get that like feedback straight away from the people in the room watching it. You get the laughs and you get the all the emotions, the ups and the downs. So yeah, it's a really nice evening.
Yeah, because I understand you've been sitting on this documentary a while, because you saw a sort of final cut version of it. How long ago did you see that?
No, so we didn't see a final cut. We saw like a close to final cut, if you like, an unpolished version, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, just as a board to make sure that we were okay with it, sort of thing. So yeah, no, we kind of obviously knew what to expect, but we hadn't seen it for a long time. When you watch it for the first time, you kind of, well, me anyway, in a bit of a blur, because it's you're trying to take it all in. So it was nice to watch it back and see a fully polished version with all the audio and the great imagery. So yeah, no, it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think Worthing Town sort of Borough Council and Worthing Town Centre Council should be looking at it as a bit of a good old tourist board video, shouldn't they? Because it makes the town look bloody lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the mayor was there and he was very, very happy with it. And he's actually invited us for lunch at actually I forget where it is now, but he's invited us for lunch.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That's cool. Yeah, but it wasn't just people from the club there; it was people from the community, and it was a really special evening. I think the Dome really happy that they managed to host for us, because what an iconic venue to do it at.
Oh, it's a love. I mean, that's a cinema I go to whenever I go to the cinema, because it's just such a lovely venue. It's so much better than the big multiplexes, and it just shows our town off in lovely light. Obviously, it's been about over a year of filming. They started filming sort of autumn last year, didn't they? And finally been able to get together such a fantastic documentary. What did you sort of what was it like filming? Because you've had experience on TV before, as we all know. What was it like this time, being sort of followed as a sort of soul, the club that George built, the name of the documentary, but it's obviously focused around what you did, your accident, and then the future and what happened last season. So what was it like this time?
I mean, I think Theo and Howard, Theo the director and Howard the executive producer, they were just brilliant with not just me, but everyone. I think that comes across on screen. I don't think anyone in the documentary comes across as awkward or uncomfortable on camera. I feel like everyone comes across really well, and I think that's testament to how Theo and the Why Now team made everyone feel, really. Everyone felt relaxed and like they could speak openly. So that definitely helped. But yeah, I mean, it's just long. Some days are really long with filming and a lot of difficult questions, and obviously answering questions about the accident and trying to go into like sort of real the real depth of what happened was not always easy. Um, and yeah, probably harder for my family, to be fair, because they probably speak about it less than I do. So it
Mm.
sort of rolls off the tongue a bit for me at times. Whereas when you probably don't speak about it that
Mm. Well,
often.
I hold you there, making them not look uncomfortable. There's a shot of me crying after the playoff final, so yeah, that's an uncomfortable moment for me that I'll
Yeah,
never
there's a
live
lot
down.
of crying in it. I think Nicky Wheeler got caught crying
Oh,
on there.
Wheeler,
You've got
yeah, Ollie putting his
and
shirt over
obviously
his
my
eye.
dad and my mate Harry.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
there's a lot
obviously
of
knowing
crying in
your
it.
dad quite well myself, like it's and sort of seeing the great guy he is, seeing him get more emotional is just like it's like when you see people you never expect to see crying, and then it really hits you where it's hard, especially like your father and everything like that. It must be quite tricky to see because you would have probably not been seen a lot of the emotion when the accident first happened, but reliving it for them must be really tough sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Obviously, wasn't just me that went through the injury. My whole family and my friends have
Mm.
had to had to go through it as well. And all of them that have seen it since said like the first 20, 25 minutes really, really is tough to watch. But obviously they've got to include that to tell the story of the whole journey. And for those that maybe don't know anything about me or the club, I feel like why now I've done a really, really good job of telling the full journey. So yeah, it's obviously important that that stuff's in there. Um, but yeah, not always the easiest to film, that's for sure.
But one thing I felt that was really good as a follow up was that obviously following you and Jess around and highlighting your YouTube channel. We've known about YouTube channel for a while, and sort of that's one of the reasons why you've been sort of decorated with like MBE help to the sort of disabled community. It must be great to get that sort of visibility for. Am I right in saying interable couple? Is that the correct term and terminology?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a term. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like great to see because one thing that took me on Jess is like you get loads of questions all the time. Like I think she says like we get messages saying, "Oh, I really like someone that's disabled. What do I do? Where do I go?" And I think that's fantastic to bring attention and highlight of it.
Yeah, and that's why we started the page really to try and help people, but also seek help ourselves. If we've got questions, we're now part of a community where we can go to people and say, "Oh, come across this the other day. Have you been in this situation before? What did you do?" But yeah, first and foremost, it was to create a page where people could ask questions because that's definitely something that I was looking for when I was newly injured. So to have
Yeah,
that is incredible. And not just about dating or love life, just about life in general as a wheelchair user. It's nice to know like there's places to go that are fully accessible and that you can touch base with someone with lived experience that's been there and it's been accessible for them because not one person's version of accessible isn't the same for
yeah,
everyone. So it might be accessible for some, but I might turn up there and go, "Oh, my chair doesn't fit through the door," or
yeah.
this or that. So yeah, to be able to almost give people some reassurance about where they're going and that it will be okay for them when they get there is nice.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic to see. Back to the documentary now. See, they've been plugging it left, right, and centre on TNT this past week. Discovery Plus, we've had it. Obviously, you've been on Talk Sport, BBC. Like, for example, I had a guy, a trade person, come around yesterday. And we just got to talk about football. He goes, "Oh yeah, do you know that documentary coming about George? I heard it on Talk Sport last week. Because he's like listens to Talk Sport religiously. So he goes, "Oh, I can't wait to watch it." So I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's coming out tonight."
That's crazy.
So how is the sort of it came out last night officially. It was on Discovery Plus. Actually, came out earlier in the day, which is good. But what's the effect like? So I've seen lots of tweets last night, lots of people that sort of like congratulating you and the sort of the filmmakers. Even Jermaine Beckford, I saw, had a little
Yeah.
tweet saying
Yeah.
he was inspired by the story. So so we've had nearly sort of 24 hours outside of the being released. What's the sort of initial feedback that you've received?
Exactly that really that everyone finds it a very inspiring story. Which yeah, it's amazing to hear. The reaction's been incredible, and I feel like I always knew that the story is unique, but maybe didn't appreciate how many people that it has helped along the way that are either in similar situations or not. Like just for people in general, maybe have been through a tough time to know that sort of there is a route out and that yeah, your life's not over if you have a setback. So yeah, the reaction's been incredible. Hopefully, it provides a really good platform for the town and the club to continue to grow. And yeah, that's why the documentary was something that we were really keen to do.
Well, you seem as linked into my next question, George. You've done this before, haven't you? You know, you just know how to sort of feed me with podcast links here. But I was going to say, what would you like to hope the effect of the documentary is on the club and the town? Sort of, you know, what would you like to see happen? Obviously, it's not going to be sort of a Wrexham type thing because we, as the producer said, we don't need that Hollywood glitz and glam. You sort of realism here. What would you personally like to see for the club and the town?
Yeah, just more eyeballs on the club, really. That the more people that we can get coming to games or following us from afar, or however people decide they want to follow us, the better, really. The more people that know about Worthing Football Club, I feel like that is a stronger position for us to be in. And yeah, hopefully this can give us a good platform to continue to grow that and hopefully grow our connections in the town with councillors, of other business owners, and yeah, have a real influence in the town and continue to grow our community ethos and get more and more people involved. That's kind of what we want from this. And yeah, going back to your point a minute ago about the Hollywood owners, that's definitely not something that we want. We want to remain sustainable as a football club, and that's something that we're very proud of. That we do only spend the money that we generate, and we haven't got a big benefactor just chucking money in left, right, and centre. I think some people get locked into the idea that because I had the money to buy the club in the first place, that I still just chuck money in, which I don't and haven't done for 6 or 7 years now. So the club does only spend what it generates, and that's something that we're really proud of, and it's almost rule number one, really.
Well, we asked the question at the question and answers last week after the premiere. We asked the Why Now producers and directors, is there going to be a follow-up or a sequel to this? Now, they said, let's stay tuned and see how the feedback is. Now, in my opinion, the feedback's been amazing. So have there been anything you can say, early tidbits of maybe something following this documentary up? Because I think there's so much more to tell of the story.
Yeah, there's so much more to tell. And I'm obviously very aware that the documentary is called The Club That George Built, but I'm fully aware that this wasn't just me. It's as I'm sure you're fully aware as well, like there's a whole team of amazing people that have done an amazing job, and yeah, there's no way that this would have been possible without them. So yeah, it's a big team effort, and I feel like if they did come back and do a series, there's so many avenues to go down for them, for people at the club who maybe didn't make the documentary. People like Nathan who do an amazing job.
Oh yeah,
obviously Barry, the chairman, obviously does an incredible job. There's so much so much content there that they could use. I mean, even if they just come back this season, the amount of stuff that we've had to do with the stand this year, and obviously like the hard work that keeps getting through. Obviously Ralph, the new investor and director. So there's so many things that they could talk about. New manager, honestly, it could go on and on. So hopefully they feel like the reaction to the documentary is good. I'm sure it will drip feed through now, because I know that TNT has shown it a few more times this week, and so it's sitting on Discovery Plus for people to stream, and I think it's going to be opened up worldwide on Discovery Plus fairly soon. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they feel like the reaction to it is sufficient enough to come back and do more. That's obviously what we want.
Well, the producers did say that they'd had so many interviews and minutes with people that they just didn't have time for, because they filmed so much and they only had a 75-minute window, didn't they? So there's so much more to be. So I said that, what Nathan does with the youth academy and everything like that. You know, you got Stu, who's like Mr. Worthing through and through. But
exactly, honestly, the list,
knowing Stu, he probably didn't want to be on camera.
Yeah, I don't know, to be fair.
But,
Stu was another guy you could interview with loads of stories about the club. So there's so much they could tap into, and I know that the guys that did the filming would love to come back and do more. They absolutely love their time. So it's all down to how it lands, I suppose. Now that it's out.
Well, I think they've got a favourite new non-league club now, haven't they? And you know, we made them official supporters association members at the Premier, and they like that. They actually wore their badges with pride. George, you did mention it. We might as well ask it as you're on here. The new stand is opening this weekend against Maidstone, and boy, does it look good. I mean, it's almost imposing now on the stadium. It's just crazy when even after watching a documentary, forgetting how small the old stand was and looking at the new one, you must be really excited. And it's almost must be a pinch me moment. Like, you know, we had the new other new stand, the aforementioned Chris Big stand that we're not allowed to call it anymore stand. We had that one which looked fab, but now this new, it just looks amazing, doesn't it?
Oh, it looks, yeah, so incredible. I think, like you just said then, it feels so much more imposing now that the paneling's on and the big red wall. It just looks incredible. I was watching the women's highlights the other
Now, can I
night.
hold you there? Is that the new nickname of the stand, the Big Red Wall? I think that could be a good name for the stand, the Big Red Wall. I
That's
like
not a
that.
nickname. No, it's just something that when I was
It could
watching the
be
women's
now.
highlights, like the
Yeah,
backdrop of that stand in the background just
yeah,
looks incredible. So yeah, now
yeah,
now that you can't see through it, because I know the first couple of games the paneling wasn't on, you could sort of
yeah.
see through it. So even though it still looks massively impressive, but now that the red paneling is on there, it's like, yeah, bloody hell, this does look so cool. And I can't wait to be over there watching the games again because yeah, I like to be over that side, and the last few games I haven't been able to be. So
Where have you
yeah,
been the
very
last
much
couple of
looking
games? Have
forward
you
to it
been,
opening
where have
Saturday.
you been sat? Like, I haven't noticed.
The first couple of games I was sat in the northeast corner,
Yeah.
sort of by the food kiosk, and then the game at the weekend I was in front of the south stand.
Okay. What's that? What are you going to still be central like you were in the old stand? Is that like where your area's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be?
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Still
like,
between the dugouts is the
yeah.
plan.
That'd be amazing. So that opens up on Saturday against Maidstone. It's going to be a fantastic day and event to see the new stand. It's, as Barry says, it always sat with me when we spoke to him when he first announced it. He said it's going to look like a proper stadium now, not just a ground. You can proper call it a stadium now, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. It's turning the ground from a ground to a stadium. And it certainly feels like that when you're there. It just feels so much more enclosed. When you watch the games back on the highlights, it feels like a ground. Every side now will have sufficient sort of cover, which is nice. The West Stand looks so cool. Yeah, it's going to look really good.
Yeah, George, it's been great to chat to you. If you haven't seen the documentary already, it's already on Discovery Plus, and it's been shown a handful of times on TNT Sports this week, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's on 5 more times this week at varying times. Obviously, I know last night's was quite late, but they have got some earlier viewings this week for those that don't stay up that late.
Yeah, and if you didn't know, Discovery Plus is free if you have a Sky subscription. Anyway, you don't have to have TNT Sports to watch it, so don't worry about signing up. Just sign up on your Sky box, watch it, let us know what you think. And George, it's good to have you back on, and we'll speak to you very soon, mate.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Catch you soon.
Bye, mate.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Fantastic to hear from George there. I mean, I think the guy, he's so humble as well, don't you think, guys? He really is humble. Like, he doesn't realise what he's done at this club is so fantastic. And, you know, some very personal things in that documentary as well. But, you know, what I found is interesting to hear about their Will Life blog as well, you know, and the vlog that they do on YouTube and, you know, helping other disabled, interabled couples. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, you know, they're great with the awareness, aren't they? And, you know, this is just pushing out there even more, which is fantastic.
What did you think, Jacko?
I agree, and I think now, especially the publicity the documentary has got, the momentum, I think it also will do a lot good for the charities he's involved with, and, you know, get people thinking about an interable relationship. That it's not when you get in the wheelchair, like, or have an accident, your life doesn't always have to end.
No, it's fantastic. And, you know, they're raising a baby, you know, they've gone through, you know, having that whole process of having to have IVF. And, you know, it's just amazing to hear the story.
It's a whole new beginning, whole new chapter in his life.
And I think the best thing for me is how open they are about everything.
Yeah, there were some very personal things in the film, wasn't there, that I didn't expect that to be out there and such public knowledge, and it was fantastic to hear. But it's going around the world. One thing I did like, did you see Jermaine Beckford tweeted George saying how much he liked the documentary and how much of an inspiration it is? And, you know, it's obviously going to be seen by so many people that might not even say that, but you think that you got Jermaine Beckford, professional footballer, playing. It's fantastic, isn't it?
It's really fantastic, you know, and you keep an eye on social media and X, and, you know, the amount of people actually retweeting the trailer or the times it's being shown and the comments on it, you know, inspirational, emotional, roller coaster. You know, people, it's just fantastic. And I think we mentioned it before. Will it have originally when the idea came about that there was a documentary, people said, "Oh, I don't want it because we're not a Wrexham, blah blah blah," and all that. And I think it will do the club Worthing a lot good, but also I think the town of Worthing.
Yeah. It's not just a football story. It's George. It's his journey. It's the story. It's the football club. It's the town.
That's what I've been saying every time I something on social media said. Even if you don't like football, you can watch it because it's not. Yeah, football is important, but it's not all about it.
No, it's real life.
It is real life.
Sounds like Danny Rojas. Football is life. Or not life. We had the chance to speak. I mean, we've got to know Theo, who's the director and executive producer, quite well over the past season. You know, we worked a lot with them filming for the documentary. And then, you know, Howard, we met a couple of times as well, Howard Cohen, who's one of the other producers of the documentary. They kindly given up some of their time to come and speak to us on the Rebel Yell podcast tonight. So, guys, welcome Theo, Lee Ray and Howard Cohen to the Rebel Yell podcast.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Theo, Lee, Ray and Howard Cohen, welcome to the Rebel Yell podcast. This time you are on this side of the microphone. Well, that side of the microphone.
This smells like revenge.
Yeah, it's revenge.
we asked the questions.
Yeah. We're in the hot seat now, boys. How are we doing, gentlemen? How are we doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. It's release week, so very exciting. Just hope everyone enjoys watching it as much as we enjoyed making it.
So what's it feel like now? Your baby's out there.
I mean, it's very exciting. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing. You put all this kind of hard work into it, and you're sort of in this. You know, you're living, breathing that film for so long, and then by this point, you just kind of let go of it and does well, and hope people enjoy it. And yeah, I mean, the kind of first things first is you obviously hope that George enjoys it because he's put so much into kind of helping us make that film and very much was kind of open and willing to talk about some very difficult moments in life throughout the process of making it. So, you know, hope that he liked it and same goes for all the fans and players and everyone else that helped us make the film what it is. It certainly feels like a long time ago since I started working on it. But for Howard, he's been working on it a lot longer than I have. He came up with the idea a long time ago now.
I mean, I'm a child in the time since I've been working on this.
And they've started school.
Yeah, and he just graduated from university. No, I mean, yeah, he genuinely,
is his first name George?
I'm not joking. No, he's Charles. Shout out to Charlie, rock star. I mean, he wasn't even born when it started, and so to see it out this week, wow. But yeah, it's the end. It's the end of a journey for now, but I think the journey's going to go on for longer still. But yeah, it's pretty amazing, and it's you know, sometimes it's full of hatred for lots of things. But I have read nothing but nice things on the internet that people have said about our film. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, we said in a couple of we just said in our introductions before you, you must have seen it, but Jermaine Beckford replied to one of George's tweets, and you know, to have professional footballers like replying saying their story inspired, and I'm sure it will be shared by the wider community. And once it goes on Discovery Plus around the world, there's going to be plenty more people watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I want everyone in the world to watch this film. Like,
you sound like you're on commission there.
But no, I think this might be, you know, a reasonable place to say it. I genuinely do think this is a really great watch, and that is hugely down to Theo, and it's also hugely down to the town of Worthing and everyone involved in the club, including George and his family. I've worked on so many things where I'm just going to be honest, it's a fucking pain in the arse, and I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
it's fine.
You have to
it's fine.
Yeah.
Have you met our new manager, Chris Agutter? I mean, the bleep button was made for him, mate.
Yeah, we like a few bleeps in our film. But, I mean, Theo can tell you, like, there was stresses involved in making this thing, but everyone has come out of it. The channel, the town, the club, George, his family, and us, happy with what we made. And that doesn't happen often, does it, Theo?
It doesn't. No, I mean, it's. I hadn't actually heard that Jermaine Beckford thing, but I mean, the one thing that everyone keeps saying is just like how inspirational the story is, and in the end, although, you know, we clearly work hard to make this an amazing film, you know, fundamentally, as soon as Howard kind of brought the story to me and told me about George's story, and I was interested in making the film, I, you know, just like very quickly felt like it had all the kind of potential to make a really sort of powerful and thought-provoking film, which is obviously a good start.
Yeah.
Howard, where did you get the story from then? How do you find out about George and his story and Worthing?
Right. This is 100% the fact. If this film goes on to have a long lifespan and people wonder how it happened, this is exactly the start of it. I watched an episode of Welcome to Wrexham. I said to a bloke I was with at the time, who big shout out to Jake Denton, who you can find as Snake Denton on the internet if you want to find him. He's a very talented journalist. But I came into work, he worked with me, and I said, Jake, I've watched the Wrexham thing. I don't really like it because it wasn't the genuine truth of grassroots football or lower league football. Like, we've got a lot in this country, and it should be represented by a story that didn't require Hollywood movie stars to make you watch it. And I said we should find a story that's worth talking about. And he came back that afternoon with a link to George's story.
Well, what a story it is.
Yeah, that was it. It began there, you know, guys.
So thanks to Wrexham then, really.
So when was that moment then? You've mentioned how long this has taken in the making. When was that?
I reckon we're looking at around April 2022.
Oh wow!
Oh, long time.
That's a long time then.
I reckon about then. Well, I can tell you how I know when it happened. Right? When did you guys get promoted for the second time?
22. Yeah, it's 21-22 season. Yeah.
So it was we. So this is the good bit of the film. This is the little Easter egg bit. But like, you know, Jake was researching the film, and we thought we would never be able to film you guys getting promoted again. You know, it wouldn't be the footage, so we went and filmed it. Sometimes you just pick the camera up and you just go and film it. And as Theo would tell you, he was really happy that we did that, right, Theo?
So that's where the footage come about from the Bowers and Pitsy game then? Because the cameras
that's
were
right,
at Bowers
Theo.
and Pitsy.
I haven't got it wrong, have I, Theo?
No, that's all right.
So that was your footage?
Yeah. So what's mad is, like, there's actually like a fair amount of that footage, like loads of people. So that the shot of Bigsy where he says,
"Oh yeah, I've never seen that before."
It's fantastic.
George Dowell is worthing through, and then he goes, "And so am I."
Yeah, we wondered where that had come from, because we didn't know that had happened, because obviously we were there, we were on the pitch. That's when I still had hair. So, you know, Howard's had a kid, I've lost my hair. You know, that time. You know, that's that's where it's going.
I think we've got shots of you sort of. You went on the pitch, didn't you?
Yeah. It was all on the pitch.
And there was Hayden was there.
Yeah. You can see the ball
it's
patch.
Funny because I hadn't like fully gone through the footage before doing the interviews for the film, and obviously we ended up doing interviews with Hayden and others, and then slowly but surely in the edit, once I started going through the old footage of that game, suddenly you just see all the same faces, and it's lovely to sort of think that kind of we picked out the right people, and they were the people that went away to watch you guys get promoted that year. But it's amazing footage.
Oh yeah.
And I think when I initially started to think about what the structure of the film was going to be, I had always imagined the journey from George buying the club to, you know, getting to where you are now, highest level the club's ever played at, would be much longer. But then because so much happened last season, and it was such an exciting season, that section of the film suddenly became like the prominent story was kind of following the ups and downs of last season and the kind of roller coaster that you as fans and the club went on. You know, and we didn't have enough time to go into everything in that much detail. So suddenly the rise of the club through divisions became very sort of short, or much shorter in the film than we first imagined.
You certainly picked your moment, didn't you, Theo? Because it wasn't very long after you turned up and started filming regularly that Hinch left, was it? and then you was into a whole different story.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we might have filmed 3 games. So basically what happened was the first game we filmed was, I think, just maybe late November or early December. That was you guys getting knocked out of the cup to Littlehampton.
That's right. I remember you guys being on the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, and really that was like a practice run for us. It was like we basically kind of came down to show our faces and kind of feel out what a match day might feel like. And I can remember going, I think I mentioned this on the premiere night, but like me bundling into the changing room with the camera crew that night and seeing Hinch's face, and I thought, oh my God, I'm not sure he's going to like this.
So much you wouldn't want to meet Hinch down a dark alley, let alone in a changing room when they're down at half time.
Exactly, yeah. And like he absolutely went for him, and I thought, oh my God, here we go. And then the second game we came to film was Chippenham at home, and you were 1-0 down at half time again. In we go with the camera crew, and I genuinely thought Hinch was going to tell us to get the fuck out. And then what was funny is like then obviously he came back 1-3-1. And then afterwards, Hinch was like really lovely and like did some interviews of us. And he was like, "You're lucky we came back. I was about to ban you from the changing room."
Was that Ode doing that weird dance that I love in the documentary in the changing room after? I don't know what he was doing, but he looked like he was kind of humping or grinding against the table when he said, "You're going out tomorrow night." That made me laugh.
Yeah, that was after Maidstone. There's some amazing footage in that changing room, and it is a kind of real pleasure as sort of people who make films to kind of be in that moment. And you've got to say thanks to the club and Hinch, because I was fully appreciated that Hinch might not have wanted us in the changing rooms, and same with Aaron. Like everyone was just so welcoming to us, and I think obviously like felt like it was. I think a lot of people were doing it for George, like. That everyone feels like they owe George and the club a lot, and they kind of want to do right by him and the club. And I think kind of that's where part of the willingness comes from. And the other part is just that I don't know if there's something in the hiring process, but just everyone at the club is genuinely just a lovely person, and everyone we met was just kind of brilliant to work with, really.
And that is the genuine face of Worthing Football Club. We're all together. Literally everyone involved at this club is just fantastic and just a really nice person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Spencer.
It's one of the things. It's one of the things that makes us what we are.
No, yeah, I think it's definitely a unique club. From let alone the story, just from everything that's happened. As Hayden alluded to in the documentary when he was interviewed, it's like this club is. This town should have a professional club. It's amazing for the size of town and the location that we haven't got a sort of professional club. But I think you can see, and anyone who watches the film can see, they're building the foundations. I don't know if you guys came down to Woodside before you came for the premiere last week, but the new stand we're standing opposite now looks unreal. It's unrecognisable.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to pop in on my way down, but I'll certainly be down kind of in the next few months to see it. And I've had lots of people showing me photos on premiere night. It looks amazing.
It looks even better now. It's nearly near completion. It's massive, and it's a proper football ground now.
Yeah. Theo, you mentioned you're going to be coming down hopefully a few times in
the cameras
in the net. Is that a follow-up you're alluding to there, mate? Have we got an exclusive on the Rebel Yell podcast?
The exclusive can be that I'm going to come down as a fan, and the answer to whether there's more to be filmed is way above my pay grade, so I'm going to pass that on.
That's an easy way out. That's an easy cop-out, mate.
Oh, we look forward to seeing you.
Saying that, Spencer, he was at the Bowers game as a secret agent, so we never know. You never know. It could be people filming us. Is that a camera right there?
Not so secret anymore, though.
Not so secret. No, not so secret.
Just a quick question. I think it was Howard who mentioned social media and the reactions to the documentary. And, we all followed it and we've seen it. It's all positive and all good. But what about the people in your industry, your colleagues? And, what did they say about it?
Good question. Don't know yet. It's only been out a couple of days.
I think I read a very nice. I think it's Broadcast Magazine, or was an article possibly. Is it called Broadcast Magazine? I'm pretty sure that was a link. Maybe someone had reviewed it just before it came out. I think it was very positive.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get more and more. I think, it came out on Tuesday. It's only been a couple of days, so we'll probably get a lot more stuff as word spreads, hopefully, of how enjoyable a watch it is.
Sorry, I've just seen Jack Spong put top bins. We're just in training. He's just done top bins with a volley. God, you'd love to have had a camera for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
What were you saying, mate?
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things with the way TNT released stuff, and it was the same with BT Sport before, is that they that first release at 10:30, people often think like that's a strange time to put a film out, but the way TV is working these days, it's all about kind of catch up and watching stuff on demand. And the idea of putting them out at 10:30 is much more about for them, it means they can promo it all this week during the Champions League games. So you end up kind of alerting people to it. So this whole week really for the film is like a sort of almost like a PR drive. It was great to see George on BBC Breakfast the other day. He's done 5 Live, TalkSport, and I bet he's knackered.
He said he was shattered when I spoke to him. I don't have TNT Sports. I didn't watch the Champions League. Were they plugging it throughout the Champions League?
It's been really heavily promoted all week.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's what you can. That's only what you can pray for, isn't it? 'Cause that's what's going to get the listeners. Listeners,
yeah, exactly.
viewers.
And the viewers. Yeah, it's not all about listeners, mate.
No,
but yeah, you kind of hope like I'm confident that George's story, as soon as people click play, will just be engrossed in it, and I think it will do really well. Fingers crossed.
It's like we discussed before we come on with you as well. It's much more than a football story, isn't it? So it's got a much wider audience than football.
Yeah. I mean, it's the interview I did with George Spencer. The interview that I did, he said if there was ever talks of any follow-up, you've got so many more stories to tell within the club. You've got the women's team that are going up. You've got Barry, who I don't know if fun fact for you guys if you knew, he's the guy that signed David Beckham to his Adidas Predators deal, and his first goal was the halfway line goal. So that's Barry Hunter, the chairman. Adidas, and you've got
shout out Barry.
Yeah, shout out Barry. And then you've got the new stand. You've got so many other people around the club. You probably have so much footage you'd be able to do.
Or you could stick with what you've got. You could probably release a film just on what you've got on Hinch in the changing rooms.
Managing for dummies.
A lot of it wouldn't be able to be released, I'll tell you that much.
I can imagine. How many hours of footage did you have to get down, out of interest?
I mean, absolutely no idea. But if you imagine I genuinely wouldn't know where to start, but way more than was even possible to watch. But God, I have no idea. But certainly to try and squeeze this story into what ended up being a 70-minute film was a challenge, to say the least. And as you say, there's so much stuff that we wanted to go in that didn't make it. Two of the things that I really wanted in the film but didn't quite make it. One was kind of the story of the away boys. I love that idea that they kind of started with George. That the away boys started at the same time as George.
Yeah.
And the kind of two things grew at the same time. I thought that was kind of a fascinating idea, that suddenly you go from, what was initially like 5 blokes on the sidelines singing funny songs to like these days, like I got, my experience of going down there for the playoffs last year, and you just think, oh my God, the atmosphere here is absolutely popping off, which is incredible. And the other thing really is it's hard to get across quite what George has done in the kind of like wider community in that film. But setting up a women's team and having all of those youth teams, we obviously gave it a nod in the documentary, but you can't really do justice to kind of paint the picture of what it used to be like there. And now you go down and the kids involved and all of that stuff is just incredible. And one of the things that I actually was surprised about coming down to the club was quite how many young fans there were, because I really associate had associated non-league football with much older fans, and suddenly you're down there and it's like the difference in kind of age groups down there is amazing. He's really obviously tapped into the whole community, which feels so great, and it's not just old blokes down there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how you tapped into, it's only a small part, how you tapped into like the half-term camps for the kids, and Ollie and Aaron down training with the kids. That was really good. But we are a real community club, hub of the community. There's stuff going on here all day, all evening, every day of the week. And again, that's because of George and what he's put in place here, the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember though, guys, that you did have one of the founding members of the Away Boys, Bigsy, on there quite a bit. So you did tap into that a little bit, because he loves Worthing, and so do I. What was the thing? New T-shirt idea, boys. New T-shirt idea, boys.
I wanted to ask you guys what the reaction in the town's been, or in the area's been.
Well, the Thieves Kitchen had a watch along. The pub in the town centre on after the Champions League, they had it on the screens. I think the Warwick, the O'Connors have had it on as well.
And I think not only on the night, but also the repeats are on people having watch parties.
Yeah.
And I think the season ticket holder were invited to the bar at the club to watch it on the Tuesday night.
Shown on the clubhouse here on Tuesday night. But feedback from people I spoke to, so it's been absolutely amazing. People
who'd seen it had to say.
People at the premiere last week.
Well, let's just put it this way.
Absolutely loved it.
My wife has got no interest in football at all. She knows that I love it. But I sat down with her on Tuesday night. We watched it, and she said that's actually an amazing piece of documentary. My mum and dad, my uncle who lives in Canada, who's over visiting at the moment, he's coming to a game next week against Welling for the first time. They all watched it last night and absolutely loved it. They said it's just an inspirational film. They've said, at the end of the day, they're not really interested in football at all. They obviously know their son, their nephew is interested, but they absolutely loved it just because it's such a good story. I wouldn't care if that was Worthing. I wouldn't care if it was like even Bognor, for example. I just think it's such an amazing piece of documentary. The way you've told that story is so inspirational to so many people.
I've got work colleagues. I've got work colleagues in Wales. They've watched it, absolutely loved it.
Oh yeah, I would just say that I just think also you all should know. We got lucky, right, Theo? We got lucky.
We did.
You guys had a season that if I'd have written a story of it, you couldn't have written it any better.
So we joked it's a Hollywood script, really. You've got a birth of a baby, you've got an MBE, you've got a playoff final, you've got a manager leaving and coming.
You just needed Ryan Reynolds.
Who?
We've got George.
Yeah, actually, Theo, I said that and you didn't put it in. Who needs Ryan Reynolds when you got George Dowell? I'm disappointed, mate, because that was a T-shirt idea. Now it's just a massive flop now.
That shows you the calibre of interview we had for this documentary that didn't get in.
You managed to find a space for me crying at the end, mate, so thanks for that.
That was a great find. Thank you for crying.
And that wasn't even on the camera. I didn't even know you got that. You interviewed me and Spencer at the side of the pitch and I was holding back the tears. I didn't even realise there was a picture of me wiping my face through a crowd, so you can remember.
That's because when I first asked you whether you could have an interview, you had to compose yourself, and I thought, no, I can't be.
Oh, is that what
I don't want to interview him now. You were like, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, Pete Vale, obviously the commentator, he's already given me loads of stick. He tells everyone that we know, there's a picture of James crying, so that's just worth it anyway to watch the whole documentary. And it's like, yeah, fair enough.
I think there's common somewhere of him crying his eyes out in the Maidstone game as well.
I prefer to think about, rather than your tears, Ollie's winner in the semi-final.
Oh.
That moment, talk about having great moment, luck,
It's just that, and I was real sorry. It was when we thought, come on, pass it across to Cashy. Cashy's wide open. And then we thought, he's going to mess this up. If he messes this up, everyone's going to be so fuming. And no, Ollie Pearce being Ollie Pearce, doing Ollie Pearce things, puts in the back of the net. But, just the elation and, again, it's another thing you can add to the script, last-minute winners,
Well, it was the hit in the crossbar just before as well, which you managed to get in there.
Well, with that GoPro, it was a good angle, that.
That was insane. Honestly, it's such a bonkers experience as well, like a club that I hadn't heard of 2 years ago, and then suddenly I'm like sat on the sidelines, living and breathing like every second of that. And I cannot tell you like how nervous I was. We used to do interviews like before like the big games, and George would be fine, and I'd be absolutely bricking myself. And he'd be like, "You're more nervous than me, mate." And I was like, "Yeah, I actually am."
Yeah.
And I have to say,
Theo, you just talking about that just takes me back to when I came to help a few of the games, and I just remember calling you in the middle of the game, depending on what was going on, and the stress of the phone calls about what was going to happen in the fucking game was ridiculous. Like, I used to pace around. Do you know how ridiculous it got? I ate, I think the first couple of times I ate a sausage roll in the second half, and then you guys scored, and that happened twice, right? So
lucky sausage roll.
On the third time, I bought the sausage roll, and you still lost in the final. So I'm sorry about that, guys.
Well, next time you come down, Howard, you're going to have to
go and buy it. I didn't even want it, but I thought it might help us win.
But do you know what? Now you've said that, if we had one, you could have taken this. It's because of me. It's like my sausage roll. Like, you know, that's why we've won, guys. And you know, sausage rolls for everyone.
Sometimes just got to roll with it.
Oh, don't start the dad jokes already.
Very good,
guys, we have to.
Well, it's been great being on the podcast, guys. Thanks very much.
Yeah, see you later. Spencer, you're cutting off our guests already, man. Well, just before we do wrap up, though, guys. So, obviously, you're not down here very often at the moment. Anyway, are you keeping an eye on Worthing on your phone, and if you got them as your favourite team on like score tracker apps and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I was watching, kind of waiting for the season to start. And one of the things I'd heard is that when Chris came in, he was looking to kind of shore up the defence. And I was thinking, if you could shore up that Worthing defence, then suddenly like promotion could be, you know, there could be a promotion push, even though you've lost Joe and Ollie. It finally came around to the first game of the season. You were 2-0 down at half time. Yeah. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. This is going to be this could be really tough. And then really nothing had changed, because I then looked at full time and you'd won 3-2, and I thought, oh my God, it's just going to be the same season again.
Yeah, that was another, you know, it's a shame that, you know, you think of moments we were talking about, moments you had last season. If you'd been there filming that for a new doc, you would have been like, this is a perfect, like, you know, it was just an amazing, we played crap in the first half. We were awful. And then to win it 4-3 in the end was just unbelievable, with a penalty right at the death.
Last kick of the game, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. And, you know, just there wasn't
I'd
loads of us.
to see Danny Cashman doing so well as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be lucky to hold on to him no matter what happens this season. He's just come in, and him and Jack Spong, Tommy Willard in the midfield, they're just amazing. What were they called, Jacko? The Rat Pack or something? What did you say?
Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity is what they called them. Guys, we made you honorary members of the Supporters Association. I hope you're wearing those badges loud and proud. But we forgot one thing that we wanted to do. So we wanted to give you one of our Two-Faced Twins Rebel Yell shirts from compliments of Rebel Yell and the Worthing FC Supporters Association. So when we get off the call, give me your addresses and we'll get them sent out to you. And I hope you can wear them with pride.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. Very much appreciated.
Worthing FC forever, lads. We're that film. Just remember, whatever happens, if we get to make more, great. If we don't, that film's a bit of something that everyone around the world, I think, can watch it.
People in Worthing will be watching that forever and a day.
If anyone ever asks me again about this film, I'll tell them the same thing. It's a positive watch. It doesn't make you feel like the world's shit, even though it deals with some incredibly difficult things.
Yeah.
And I think that tribute to the story, and obviously Theo's telling of it. You know, I think anyone might. I've got to go and look after a child in a sec, but my mother's reaction. My mother has never been prouder of anything I've ever done. When she watched
That's a good sign, isn't it?
And if you can get my 78-year-old Jewish mother to, you know, love a football film, then it's got to be something pretty special.
Brilliant. So, that's a nice sort of, but that means that does sound like a tattoo, Worthing FC forever on the back. I can see it now. Maybe not.
I'll talk to my wife.
Get a mackerel on your back or something, a fish, then it's not so inconspicuous then. There we go. I don't see you. She's not going to agree to the first one, let alone a fish on you, is she? But there we go. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And we'll get them sent out to you, and we hope to see. Let us know when you're down, because we can have a beer, because you're not working next time. We can have a beer actually at the side of the pitch.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
thanks for
definitely. We'll give you a shout, and thanks to you guys for being so accommodating with all of our filming requests and all of the other kind of Worthing fans out there, we felt very welcome at the ground, and it was a pleasure to spend so much time down there of the season.
Cheers.
Go on, Worthing. Go on, Worthing.
Great chat.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Really, really, really fantastic chat with Howard and Theo there, guys, wasn't it? It was just, that I think Jacko just said, well, we finished the telephone call. It's probably one of the best interviews, not saying the other guests, but just the chat, the content. Spencer, you loved it. And it was like Theo and Howard were like we just had a virtual beer with them, really, weren't it?
They're so passionate about it, and you can understand why, can't you?
Worthing FC forever.
You can see it as well, the passion about it in the documentary. And, like I said, just watch it.
But they're just generally nice guys as well. I think that's what made everyone feel at ease. You did. I never realised how when you film with us, they put us at ease, because obviously we had the cafe scene, we had the podcast scene, and filming on the pitch. But you're always a bit nervy about what you said. I mean, you did joke with me, didn't you, Jacko, saying I bet you don't use that picture of you crying at the end of the game, and they bloody did in the end. So that art was looked down. But no, just fantastic. So thank you, and watch that documentary, The Club That George Built. It's on TNT Sports, random times of the week, and it's on Discovery Plus. And remember, as we said, if you don't have TNT Sports, you get it for free if you're a Sky customer, or it's $3.99 a month for the basic package. Guys, a bit of time to talk about football, because this is a football podcast for a football club.
Really?
No. Is it? Did you not know? Let's start focusing with the women's, and Eleanor has given us a usual update.
Hi Rebel fans, it's Eleanor from the women's team. We have luckily enough had 4 games since our last update, which is more than I usually get to talk about. We have faced Bournemouth, Swindon Town, Moneyfields and Keynsham. Starting off with Bournemouth, we had a 3-1 win. The game definitely could have been put to bed in the first half, however we didn't quite take our chances. We had spells of great possession, but sometimes we could have made it more simple for ourselves. However, with excellent goals from Katie Cooper, Winch and Tierney, we secured the win. Next we faced Swindon Town, which was a really tough game and things just weren't going our way. They're a physical side, but unfortunately we just weren't the best version of ourselves and the quality just wasn't there. We definitely had the better attacking chances and it seemed they were just reliant on our mistakes. We nearly grabbed a goal back, but there was a blatant handball to stop this from happening, and unfortunately the reward of a penalty was missed. The game ended in a 4-0 loss. Straight in from Sunday, we had a game on Wednesday night under the lights where we took on Moneyfields. Midweek games are always challenging themselves, but with fuel from the weekend defeat, we knew that we had to bounce back and showcase our best selves again. In the horrific rainy and windy conditions, we showed great togetherness, aggression and some great spells of football. This was then topped off by individual brilliance to secure the 4-2 win. Our last game of the month was finished with a 7-0 win over Keynsham in the Plate. After the Wednesday night win, this just topped off the bounce back. We were all pretty much man-marked in the game, however with fast possession and movement throughout, we were able to play through them. Everyone worked so hard, which is always going to be demanding after a 3-game week. But everyone showed up, resulting in multiple different players getting rewarded with a goal. It was a great team performance all round. This weekend we have a very long journey away to Bridgewater. We will fight to bring home the 3 points and I can't wait to update you on our wins next month.
So it's you can't argue what she said. They were disappointed about Swindon. We to touch on it. It was to run through results now. It's Bournemouth Sports. They won 3-1 away. Swindon they lost in their first home game at home 4-0. Moneyfields was 4-2 win at home, and then Keynsham was 7-0. Guys, it's a good month overall. And as we were at the Swindon game, I mean I know you guys were, Spencer, you were at the Keynsham game, but it wasn't a bad game at all. And I don't think 4-0 was a storyline there.
I don't think it was a bad game at all. I think, like Eleanor said, they're just unlucky. Nothing went for us. And, I still think we were not the worst team.
No, it just didn't quite get the rub of the green, did we? The missed penalty, you don't know what might have happened if we'd scored the penalty. You don't know how the game's going to pan out. But, bounced back well with a couple of wins. I was here for the Keynsham game in the Plate on Sunday. We played excellently. Really on the front foot. But always playing off the last defender. Had our chances. Where we were playing such a high line, a few offsides, but they were marginal and they could have gone the other way, and we could have been speaking about an even bigger win.
Yeah, I think that, there's been lots of change in the team. It's nice to see the girls finally gelling and getting some results. What have you just seen the Swindon game, Jacko? Is that the one you weren't at Keynsham on Sunday, were you?
No, I wasn't. No.
No. But I mean, it was entertaining football as well. I think it was very entertaining, despite what the scoreline says. Swindon were a very physical side, but I think we'll catch them out when we play the away fixture.
I think we did. I think also Swindon were just a bit more clinical in front of the goal.
Yeah, their little striker that came, she was a bit of a handful, weren't she?
Oh, she was.
Yeah, she was. The ginger haired girl. She was a handful.
Redhead.
Redhead.
It's not a term used anymore.
Okay, fair enough. I'll get told off by the HR representative there. Guys, let's on that note, let's talk to JC and see what he had to say.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
JC, welcome back to the Rebel Yell Podcast. Beginning of October. It's been a strong month, I'd say. Just one loss, which wasn't the story of the game, I'd say. But you've had a 3-1 win away from home, a 4-2 at home, and a 7-0 at home for getting that 4 loss. So we're up on goals anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me again. And yeah, it was good month so far, and good results, scoring a lot of goals. And to be fair, yeah, we had that bad result. It's a bit of a day that nothing came our way, but the team react well. We had then Wednesday game, great reaction from the girls, and then obviously last Sunday, great reaction from the girls too. So.
It was a good bounce back because we were all at the game against Swindon and none of us agreed saying that was the score. Yeah, a couple of goalkeeping mistakes, but that comes. But 4-0 definitely wasn't what we thought was the game.
No, and I think the girls knew that. I think it wasn't good enough from us, and we spoke about it. I think the girls knew, and yeah, they worked hard and we were pushing a bit more. But this is what I say, nothing came our way, so we just make 2 mistakes just before halftime that we rarely do that kind of mistakes. Then when we were pushing a bit more, we got that sin bin. Then we have even a penalty and we missed it too. So it was a day that, nothing was coming our way.
I think when you go away to Swindon, I think they are for the taking there.
Well, I think we can beat them. I think we can beat them in any team in this league. And definitely the good thing that they have, and credit to them as well, they have very clear how they play. And they did it. And, then we concede the goal. So the fair play to them as well.
It's a shame because obviously your first game at home was that defeat to Swindon this season, but you made up for it, didn't you, by beating Moneyfields 4-2 and then Keynsham 7-0. What's it like finally being able to play at home? Because it's obviously, as a manager, when we spoke to you last month, you still hadn't played at home.
Yeah, no, it was good. Actually, now this month we are again three times in a row now away. But no, it was actually very good. Yeah, we had obviously that week 3 games at home. We won 2 of them, and I think it was good. It was good for the girls to play here. It was good for us. So yeah, no, good, very happy with that.
Yeah, it was really good to see. Well, certainly for the Swindon game, really good crowd in. That was a really decent crowd for us. That was good to see the numbers in. Good bit of noise.
And we managed to sign up people to the Supporters Association, didn't we, Spencer? That's a success all round.
We keep saying it. Watching the women's team on a Sunday, I always enjoy it. I think it's good. Yeah. I think more people should come and actually see what it's all about, because the standard of football is always good.
Yeah, it's never a bad game.
No, it's 100%. What's your thoughts on the next? So you've got away games, Bridgewater, Abingdon, and then you play them at home. You play them away in the cup, and you play them at home in the league. So it's like you can do the double over them in the space of a week in league and cup, or you can get revenge. Hopefully, it's the first, not the latter.
Yeah, well, the same. We know every game is going to be tough, especially away from home in the league. Bridgewater is quite a long way to go for us. Yeah. It's a long trip. But we go with the same mentality always. We want to win every game. So it doesn't matter if it's in the cup or in the league. We want to win. So.
And yeah, you seem to have a good squad of players at the moment. You've rotated the team round a little bit. Players have come in, players have come out. Those that have come in have performed and done a job for you. Must be really pleasing to see.
Yeah, and that's the idea as well. I like to give opportunities to everyone and keep everyone on their toes and everyone switch on. So I think they're doing it. I think this is good. We have I think it's 6 different goal scorers the other day. So that's good. That's good. I'm pleased with the girls. They are working really hard. They are training well. So yeah, it will be good. It's a positive thing.
Are they gelling well as well, would you say? Because it's a big change again, new manager, some new players. How would you say they're gelling as a team?
Yeah, I think they feel, even talking to them, I think they feel a bit more comfortable every game. They know what we want from them, the idea that we have. And you see, even, the last 2 games, you see it was coming out. So I think, yeah, we're getting better. And still, we have a long way to go, of course, but it's getting better, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the month ahead? What would you like? Obviously, you've got a lot of away games, a long away game to Bridgewater, which is not what you really want to do on a Sunday, is it? But it's a parcel of the job. So what's the thoughts on this month coming?
For me, it's no more important than the results. I want to see the team playing well, trying the things that we want to play, the way that we want to play, and keep growing like we're doing. And I'm sure if we do that, results will come. But even if not, we'll be still good.
Well, JC, thank you. Got anything, Spencer? There?
I was just going to say things are definitely going in the right direction. Hope
100%.
they keep on going that way and get along, everyone.
Well, if you think about it, at the beginning of the season, we had a squad, not big, and now actually we got a good squad.
He still wants more, doesn't he?
You want more players.
Football, goals?
Well, we are always open for new things to come. But no, obviously we have a couple of injuries now. They are back. This is always... It's never going to be the perfect scenario in this. In football we know it's always something going to happen. So, but definitely I'm happy with the team.
Well, JC, good luck for the rest of the month, and we look forward to being back with an actual fully open stadium. Hopefully, you got the dugouts now. You haven't got goal nets with
the
things.
Dugouts.
I actually didn't see them.
Yeah, there you go. You should go and make yourself comfortable. Go and get your seat. Go and get your seat.
The dugouts won't be blowing away like on Sunday.
No, there you go.
That's good to know.
JC, thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you. This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Spencer, was my interview with JC okay? Was that okay? Did it pass the HR stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, all good.
No P45s from you today, no.
No, all good.
Okay, thank you. P45 for your dad joke, I think we should say in that interview of Howard and Theo. JC seems to be happy, so it's good to hear what's been going on in the women's team this month, guys.
Yeah, pleased to have some football to play. I think after the hold-ups they've had at the start of the season,
yeah,
and getting fully into the swing of things.
It was like start, stop, start, wasn't it? And I think once they started playing a couple of games on the trot, I think it showed the way they played football.
Spencer, you fancy a trip down to Bridgewater? Not going to happen. Yeah, he's not even fancying the Plymouth at the moment, are you? It's the Bridgewater's even a is that just as far as that, a little bit shorter than Plymouth?
Shorter
journey.
Still,
yeah,
still a long journey on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, let's hear what Chris Haig had to say for his men's update.
Hi guys, Haig here. Just giving a bit of a rundown from how the season's gone since I last spoke to you guys. So I think the last few games we've had have been Hornchurch, Havant, Weymouth, and the last one, which was Dartford. In the main, I think it's been good. I think we've shown improvements in areas like not giving away lots of chances, cheap goals. I think we've done relatively well. I think if you were to say from our first 10 games that we have lost one and been unbeaten, obviously, for the rest, then I think we would be happy. I think there's loads of areas where we can improve still. Obviously, the Weymouth game, we were 1-0 up and obviously down to an error of myself, which I wouldn't normally make. It cost us the game there. Not that we necessarily deserve to win it, but we were close to winning there. And then we're now looking like we're starting to create more chances. We created chances, some chances against Weymouth, and then created obviously chances against Hornchurch. Their goalie had got man of the match. He was brilliant on the day. Created chances against Dartford. Could have scored about 7 or 8 goals, I think. And then I think against Havant, we also created chances. So in the main, I've been quite happy with it, to be honest. And I think we're in a good place. I think we know exactly where we need to improve and what that's going to take. I think we have moments where we look fantastic, and as you guys would have seen, scored so many brilliant goals. That'll be remembered, to be fair, for a long time. We just have to do it over a prolonged period of time and show that we can be consistent in being that good. And if we do that, then I think we'll be a force to be reckoned with, no doubt about that. So ultimately, I think it's been pretty positive, to be honest. And I think it's put us in a good stead for the rest of the season with some more home games also.
Fair assessment from Hagee there, would you say?
I think it's very fair, and I think it's great, and I really admire him for admitting he made a mistake against Weymouth. And and we had a discussion earlier. If a goalie makes a mistake, it usually leads to a goal. But he held his hands up. Fair enough. It happens, and we move on now. But I think he's quite right. I thought the Hornchurch game wasn't the best game. I thought it was a bit boring.
But
if I'm really honest.
Again, he pointed out their goalie had an absolute blinder. He 3 or 4 absolute world-class saves.
He did.
But it's what interests me about that. I was listening to Weymouth on the commentary, and it was from what it sounded like is we were really poor, but that mistake cost us because whether we would have conceded, because I think Spencer, you said they were all over us the second half.
Well, first half they were absolutely for the taking. They couldn't get anywhere near Cash. When they started to try and close Cash down, it was just going to Willard instead, and Willard was pulling the strings. We should have been going in more than one up at half time. Game seemed to bed. So that's probably a lesson learned. But second half, completely different game. We literally couldn't get out of our own half.
Yeah, but that's football sometimes, isn't it? And then next time we got a game like that, it goes our way. You know, it's one of these things. And like he said, we played 10 games, lost 1. You know, it's not bad.
And again, Weymouth is another game. Their keeper made some absolutely outstanding saves and was man of the match.
Yeah. Well, this month we've signed a new player. My nemesis, Mo Fowl. Why is he my nemesis, Jacko? Do you want to tell the listeners
nemesis?
Why?
No, I think you gave him a bit of stick in the game against Maidstone in the semi-final, and he must have hurt you because he turned it on. He turned it to Pele for 10 minutes, and that led to their equaliser.
And what did he do at the equaliser?
He cupped his ear.
At who?
I think at you, but I think he still...
Just shaved my beard off.
I think he still did it when he scored the winner against Havant. He did the same celebration.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's interesting. He's been playing quite the good responses on social media. But, you know, he's a player that, you know, when I think he played fantastic when he played for Enfield in the season. We won. It was between him and Ollie Pearce for the Golden Boot that year, wasn't it? And Ollie pipped him to the post. But I'm really excited to see what he can do because we need a striker to replace Ollie. Obviously, we've lost Hutch. Hutch has gone to
Enfield.
Good luck with that. I mean, surprising move. I wasn't surprised. I just don't think he really fired when he joined us.
A lot of strikers on the book. Somebody had to go.
Yeah.
But Mo is he's looked really useful. He's had lots of chances. It's just not quite fallen his way. Yeah, at some point they're going to start going in, and I really get the impression that once one goes in, they're going to start flying in. Yeah,
we need a consistency, and he just got to warm up with his. You know, he scored on his debut, scored the winner against Havant.
Had to beat that game, but
that's why. Well, funnily enough, that's what Aggie said, didn't he? Tried to get him for that game to get him firing. You know, it worked. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. Building a squad, been training well tonight. We've been watching him, so good luck to Mo. I'm sure you'll take great pleasure in having him on the podcast soon, won't you? Especially Yako, and reminding of that situation.
It's not that, and you know, just let's put it open in the air. I've got my own views on Val. I'm personally not convinced he's a solution for us, but like I said, I'm happy to take that back if he is. I think his best year was at Enfield. Every time we played him the last couple of seasons, I didn't think he was great, but you know, it could be different when he plays in a really good team.
Yeah. Well, I think we've got a very busy month coming up. We've got 7 fixtures in October. Maidstone this weekend when the stand officially opens. We've got Welling on the Tuesday. We've got Plymouth Parkway in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round, the last chance to get into the first round, which it's a winnable tie, that, guys, and I hope we take full advantage of that, because wouldn't it be great to have... I mean, it's written in the stars, isn't it? York City, Worthing FC, North Worthing FC versus Worthing FC.
Let's not jump too far.
Everybody keeps saying it's a winnable game. It might be. Every game is winnable.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, stranger things have happened. And I think they're not doing that well in the league, though, but in the
FA... one-off cup game, anything happens. It's a long day for us. It's a long day for the players.
And I mean, it'll be amazing to get to first round last year, because obviously we had so much fun going up to Alfreton last season. The Doghouse, wasn't it, Spencer, our new favourite away pub? With one barmaid on and not realising why a load of football fans are descending.
We drunk them out of beer.
I think they were quite happy for their takings. Their manager would have been happy. Then we go on to East Preston away in the Sussex Senior Cup. I'm sure we'll see a much sort of fringe team there probably playing. You know, I'd like to see Taylor Seymour have a go and goal, hopefully. You never know.
I'd like to see him a goal for that game. I think you said fringe play. I think it might call a rotation.
Yeah.
For East Preston, and you know, we should win that game. But then again,
it's a cup game. What you said, it's you know, they're going to be.
Never know.
They're going to want to scalp, aren't they?
EP under the lights, anything can happen.
Yeah, EP under the lights. Then we've got Tunbridge at home in the cup, in the league. Sorry. Then we've got Torquay away HMS Pistol League, as they call themselves, which isn't happening again this season. And then we've got Slough at home to end the month. So a very busy month, guys, isn't it?
Very busy.
Yeah. Lots of miles. Maybe quite a few Spencer services if we're lucky. We didn't really get many this month, did we?
There's none.
Anyway, let's speak to Aggie, see what he has to say.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Aggie, welcome back. How are you doing, mate?
Good, thank you. How are you?
So the co-presenters being really professional. Spencer said about us being professional, and they're too busy chatting.
We're just having a chat.
I was ready.
We're not street waffling yet.
Ooh, street waffling.
We're welcoming our guests.
I think he feels welcome.
Always.
Welcome.
Always.
Welcome. Aggie, couple of wins, couple of draws. What's your sum up of September?
Yeah, obviously pleased to go unbeaten in September. I think we're running around at 1.9 points per game. Obviously, we factor in the cup results into that, into fourth qualifying round. Yeah, it's solid without being spectacular, but I think we're steadily improving. I mean, Weymouth was disappointing because I sort of challenged the group to. It's all right drawing at Hemel early doors and dropping points there after 4 games, but my feeling is I want to crack on and kick on, and don't want to be dropping points against Weymouth. So that's the.
You talk about Weymouth. One thing we did say, obviously, Haigie's message. I don't know if you've listened to it, but what we found really sort of quite,
refreshing. Actually,
refreshing is that he owned up to the mistake and said it was him that cost them the points. And right, I see the sympathies there, but it's nice to say that he didn't beat around the bush and he said, "Look, it's my fault. I cost us. Whether we didn't deserve to get the 3 points anyway because it was quite a poor performance all round." But he was saying he cost the 3 points in the end. I think that's quite amicable, remarkable of him to say that to me. Right?
Yeah, well, I think that's what you want, isn't it? You want people to be honest and take a bit of accountability if they're not delivering, and he'll be the first one to admit it wasn't just the actual goal.
Yeah,
I mean some of the distribution was. I mean, yeah. But I choose my words carefully.
I personally feel the Weymouth game we did enough in the time that we had in the first half where we were, we started off really strong. And I feel we could have had that game to bed in 20 minutes.
Well, that's the frustration, because when we went 1-0, we had the opportunity to go 2 or 3, and it's game over. And what we done was we got sloppy. We kicked the ball off the pitch a couple of times, and we let them off the hook. And before you know it, you find yourself in a game. And I thought the Dartford game was similar in terms of we went 3-0 up, and we had an opportunity to go 4-5 and bury them. And again, we get a bit complacent or sloppy, and you let teams off the hook, which is incredibly frustrating.
So, fourth qualifying round coming up against Plymouth. I bet you wish it wasn't so far away in terms of distance. That's a long old journey, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not Truro though. So no, it's good. I mean, we think it's a good draw. We're pretty accustomed to travelling the length and breadth of the south at the minute. So
is that on the day job, or are you going the night before again?
I don't know.
Not sure.
I don't know. Obviously, because of the 2 times I think the club has stayed overnight was Truro this year, and then Alfreton last year.
Okay.
And by all accounts, the I know for a fact the Truro performance was Quango, and then Alfreton, by all accounts, wasn't the best last year. But my attitude is perhaps we need to actually do it more, because if we go to where we want to get to, which is obviously the National League, then every other week's an overnight. So you have to get used to it.
Yeah, that's it. So one of the surprises of the month was Mo Fowl. You signed Mo Fowl. You got your man, as you said to us on text. Tell us how that signing came about.
I've been stalking him on and off for about 5 years, to be honest, from when he was at Kingstonian, and then when he got a move to Bolton, I've just sort of followed his sort of progress, really.
Yeah.
And then the problem I've always had is I've never, other than when I was at Stevenage, who didn't want to take Mo, I've never been working at a level where you feel like you could attract him, because it's always been below the level, or you're at a Stevenage and a Brighton where he's certainly not on that radar. But we spoke in the summer, and he was talking to Crawley, and understandably he opted to go to Crawley. and Crawley perhaps didn't
work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out, and we just sort of took the opportunity. Really, I mean, to be honest, like we had 3 centre forwards sorted, and we've always wanted 3 centre forwards, and we had those in place. But when Mo become available, you think you got to take that opportunity.
Yeah, it's got to be done. I mean, we're looking forward to seeing what he can do. He comes with a lot of a reputation behind him of being a great striker. So hopefully he can bring it to the squad, and that must be what you kind of were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen in the 3 games he's played, he's had more opportunities and more chances than any other centre forward we've had this year. And I think that's always the thing when you look at centre forwards is you worry not when they're missing chances, but when they're not getting chances. So Mo's, he needs to get fitter, but that's where he's had a disjointed start to the year, and that'll come with time. And he's getting better and better. And he's not just a centre forward in terms of putting the ball in the net. He'll bring others into play. His link play's good. He can come off the forward line. He can play wide as well. So he gives us real options. And do you know what as well? Like from an opposition perspective, I think you go through our team and there's obviously a lot of good quality players in there, and perhaps up top was the one area where if the opposition were watching us, they wouldn't necessarily be shaking in their boots.
Yeah.
Whereas now I look at it and go, Mo's a very good player and it's a real attacking threat.
Yeah, 100%. Spence, you were going to say something there? You had the microphone poised.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought, sorry. So
I sent him to sleep. That's what I done.
I wasn't going to say it, but
I had that.
It's past his bedtime.
Bedtime listening.
So regarding Mo, and you saying he's had quite a disjointed time at Crawley and things. So where is he kind of like physically? Did he have a pre-season at all at Crawley?
No, not really. Right. So he's obviously moved come late to Crawley, and then he probably wasn't managed as well as he could have been, let me just say that. And it's just meant that he's missed out on a full pre-season, which I think in the first couple of games, adrenaline and excitement gets you through it, and then you tend to find sort of games 3 or 4, that's when you realise, I'm probably a little bit undercooked here. So we're doing a lot of work with him to try and get him up to speed.
Could it benefit us later in the season then? That he's starting a bit later.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see. I think we'll see a lot of the benefits from the physical condition of the group in general later in the season, because we tend to almost overtrain early on in the year, and traditionally it's worked in terms of sometimes we, like when we played Hampton, we went into the game and we probably overdone it on the Thursday night, but we sort of experience tells us that in the turn of the year, if you get a really good physical base in there, it sets you up for the run-in. And touch wood, it's always been like the teams I've always managed, they've always gone top around December time. It always started like steady, similar to how we have, and then it gets to sort of the winter months, and I think the players get up to speed, and that's where we tended to go on a really good run.
So we obviously Mofal's come in, Hutchinson's gone to Enfield. Was that just frustration from the player about not getting enough game time? Was he just wanted to go and explore his opportunities to try and get some more game time in?
Yeah, it's similar to Tyrese. He just wasn't going to play for us.
Yeah.
So, rather than... I'm always, I think, just be honest with people. And as soon as we felt it become clear that he wasn't going to play, rather than give people a load of waffle and promise them X, Y, and Z and go, if you keep training hard, 6 weeks down the line, you could be in the side. We just felt that with Temi, Harrison, and now Mo, and Cash and Tommy and these guys that can play in forward areas as well, like in the number 9 position, we just felt you weren't going to play. So just have that honest conversation as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, it's a busy month coming up. 7 fixtures, I think I counted. It's a very busy month for you. A bit of travelling. I bet you're looking forward to those actually having that stand finally open and not sitting in some covered over 5-a-side goal nets.
Depends how the game's going. I quite like the peace and quiet for 70 minutes against Havant.
Yeah. Well, you've only got George behind you, haven't you, now? So he'll be sitting behind you giving you the abuse.
George's all right, though.
It's the other ones that'll get behind you.
I don't mind him giving me abuse.
Yeah. There might be some new people that stand behind the dugout and you're going to get constantly abused and you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah. I'd like to see the replies from you as well.
Don't worry.
What was it? Who was the football manager that said if you can do better, put some boots on, get on the pitch yourself? Was it?
I think it's Tim Sherwood.
Redknapp
did it as well. Yeah,
Had it pre-season, didn't they?
Bernat did it at West Ham.
Was it? Wasn't it Big Sam as well? Did it? He's probably done it. I can
Warnock?
imagine Warnock. Yeah, that was it.
Warnock
Warnock
might
did
have
it.
done
Yeah,
it.
I'm just imagine those characters. Okay, so we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. We see some commotion going over there.
Cantona karate kicks and all sorts.
Yeah, no, don't do that. I don't recommend that. You've been banned enough this season, mate.
Yeah, no, true.
Don't need any more
That
cards.
could be a Rebel Yell special. We'll get Aggie sort of mic'd up for a game. And
Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah. Mate, I've got to do enough editing on this podcast. I can't be doing
they
that.
scrapped the dugout cam this year because of that. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that's just because you weren't in the dugout for the first 3 games.
No,
Can't really do anything without you there.
Yeah.
It'll be stand cam instead. Well, Aggie, good luck for the month of October. We look forward to speaking to you at the beginning of November and see where we're at, and hopefully cementing our place in that playoff zone and in the first round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think if we beat Maidstone and Welling, I think that puts us in a good place. And just the challenge is we've got to, obviously not get too frustrated because it is only October, but equally I want to kick on. Like the winter's here now, and now's the time where you want to sort of see. You tend to see the better teams come to the fore, really.
But there are other teams in our league who I think are really panicking already. One of is not far from us.
What, Dorking?
Dorking, yeah. I think
his mate Mark. He's going to win the league, 100 points.
I think he's really panicking there.
No, it's early days, isn't it, mate?
But the thing is, he's almost every week there's a new signing.
Yeah.
And I don't think things are going that well there. So I think he's panicking a bit.
But anyway, what will be? I'll look forward to that Boxing Day derby.
Oh, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm with you. It is really early, and it's just amazing how, I alluded to it in my post-match last week. Like from our perspective, like as staff and as players, we feel like there's a degree of negativity around our start. But when we look at it, you think, well, if we beat Welling, we're sort of like 2 points off second.
Yeah.
And we've lost one game.
Well, that's what I mean, and it's amazing, and like you just think, and that was one of the things I took from the documentary. Actually, brilliant. When it was last season, which was obviously incredible. After 18 games, they were on 30 points. So I'm thinking, well, I'll be disappointed if after 18 games we're on 30 points. So even though we feel like it's been a steady start, if not spectacular, I don't know. I feel like you said there, it feels like there's a degree of not panic, but like real sort of disappointment, and we just keep sort of checking ourselves, going, "Cool,"
I think it's because, and let's be honest, we have been spoiled the last couple of years here. We're not really used to. We had a lot of change. You coming in, some new players leaving, new players coming in, and I think let's not beat about the bush. We as Worthing fans have been spoiled, and of course we want to see the best football. We want to win every game 6-0, but it's not going to happen always, is it?
No, and the thing is that I've probably gone on a bit longer than I thought, but get on my soapbox. But obviously the team's obviously been changed heavily and all the rest of it. But no, I think. Like I said, when I refer back to the documentary, like 18 games, 30 points, and you listen to Hinch and these guys and George, and they sort of say about a mixed start, you think, well, actually, perhaps it's, like I said, I think the last period of the season where obviously Worthing finished strong and were beating teams out of sight, perhaps clouds the view of the entire season. But
yeah,
and we've been up at this level for a couple of years now, and teams know us.
Yeah.
We're not the surprise package anymore.
No. Anyway, I'll leave you in peace.
Thanks, Aggie. See you next month.
No worries.
Cheers, Aggie.
Cheers, Aggie.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
So, quite happy to hear from Aggie. He's seems mixed reviews. He's. I guess we are improving. I think we can see the improvement, guys, can't we? The squad are finally gelling together, and I think the season's going to get better as it goes on.
Everything's going well. Everything's going in the right direction.
Yep.
We've lost one game.
Yeah. But there's been obviously lots of chops and changes. Squad's moving, it's going to be.
We had it every year, though. The last couple of seasons, we probably had 30 players in the squad, and after 10 games, we ended up with 20.
Gets trimmed down who fits, who
down,
doesn't.
And if a player comes available, and the manager's interested in, or the club are interested in, then
you don't know what's going to happen with the players we've got. I'm sure we were standing here this time last year saying, why isn't Ollie Pearce getting a game? And when he was playing, he wasn't scoring.
True. That's true. It's amazing what they fired him up, didn't it? I remember I always remember that famous bit when we were at Slough away and Ollie's talking to his dad, going, couldn't get a loan out of here. He's not playing. He was so frustrated, but look what it did to him. Fired him right up. And which is good to see. But I'm looking forward to a busy month ahead and hopefully getting some points and going up leagues. We're one win away from the playoffs with a game in hand, I think, at the moment, which is obviously a great, after having 6 away games on the trot, to be at home again. It's going to be fantastic to see. Build this as a fortress. I mean, this is what I'm excited for, this new stand opposite. It's going to hopefully turn this ground to a massive fortress.
Is there a new stand?
No, you mentioned it. No, and what I really hope, when the stand opens and when we can go to full capacity, that everybody who, at the end of the season, came to watch us in the semi-final and the final,
and come back.
And those people come back.
But can you imagine, I know you said don't get too ahead of yourself, we've still got to beat Plymouth if we're going to get through to first round of the FA Cup, but can you imagine a big fixture here against a League One side, which will probably be chosen for TV and a full sold-out 4,000 capacity? It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
It will be amazing, but I'd rather have a lesser team in the first round so we can go through to
Old
round
Trafford.
2. More money as well.
Yeah.
Each round you get through, that money starts going up quite substantially.
Yeah,
and that's something we can use.
And good luck for the rest of the month. All right, it's that time of the podcast. Oh, sorry, there's no Spencer services this month. I got really excited there. You're kind of confused.
Literally no there's literally no service.
But I have got a new feature that you guys don't know about.
Did somebody say Jack? Me, get delivery like a G. See, hungry dogs gotta eat.
Jack? Jacko?
Is this me?
It is you. It's Jack Eats.
Is there anywhere Snoop Dogg doesn't get nowadays?
No, he's now sponsoring
he's now on
Jack
Rebel Yell
Eats.
podcast. Get the Olympics.
Have we had? We didn't allude to it last month. Have we had any?
What? Food? Yeah, I did. I tried it.
Come on. He's got the burgers, he's got the fries.
I did try the new pies on Saturday. And I thought they were...
Sorry, I got bored at home. You know what I'm like when I'm bored at home. So you tried the new pies. Where was that? Here at home?
Yeah, they do pies now. Guest pies over
Oh, really?
in the teapot.
What was it this weekend then?
It was some sort of lamb something, wasn't it?
No, it was a chicken and ham, I think, and it was a
Yeah.
beef one. And it's Higgity pies. And
They're local. It's Shoreham, aren't they? Is it Higgity?
No, it wasn't Higgity.
Higgity, yo,
it's the same
diggity.
ones
Piggies.
you get at
Piglets.
Brighton.
Piggies.
Piglets?
Piggies.
They're the ones over by the...
Yeah, by the dump.
tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was okay, but wasn't that great. But,
What about any? Have you been to any of the away ones this month or not?
No, I don't think I have, actually.
No. So next month, what are you planning next month? You got any games planned at the moment?
No, I haven't, because I'm a bit busy.
East Preston.
East Preston.
Try the burger or the kebab shop in East Preston or something like that.
East Preston's going to be a bacon pub, isn't it?
Are you going
normally?
Torquay?
Don't know yet.
That might be a fish and chip job.
Seagull burger.
Seagull burger. No, seagull burger, seaside burger. Seaside burger, but hopefully Jack Eats will come back next month with some good Jack Eats.
somebody say Jack?
Anyway, thank you guys and girls.
I'll tell you what, this is up until the last 2 minutes, this has been the most professional podcast we've ever had. We've actually had professional guests, and then we've just ruined it.
Well, Jack Eats, though. He might, imagine if Just Eat reached out and sponsored us, or they took us down for using their music. One or the other it's going to be, isn't it? Probably the latter rather than the former.
Let's speak to our HR advisor.
HR advisor, am I allowed to use that music?
I'm now an expert on music.
I'm sure if it was Kylie Minogue, he'd be loving it anyway, wouldn't he? Guys, thank you very much for a great, as Spencer says, a very professional podcast with some great guests this month. And it's been fascinating to speak about the documentary because it's just been absolutely fantastic. Just for the town, for Worthing, for the club, and seeing that documentary. If you haven't watched it already, get watching, share it around, show it to people that don't even care for football or anything like that, because
then get them down to Woodside for a game.
Well, we tweeted, didn't we? You've now watched the documentary. Come down to Woodside.
Yeah.
And whilst you're there, pick up a Two-Faced Twins / Rebel Yell shirt available. We're still plugging them.
Support association membership.
We got
and become a member.
Membership. Well, we gifted a membership to Howard and Theo, and now you can get your own member by joining for £10 for an adult, £5 for a child, £25 for a family. We'll be sending them right up to the AGM, which will be sometime in October. Keep an eye out on your emails and socials. Thanks again, once again, to MK Window Cleaning, Price Jones Electrical for sponsoring the podcast and supporting us. And I'm just glad this new equipment we've got has actually worked well for 2 podcasts in a row with telephone calls. I mean, wow, going up in the world, guys. We'll be on TNT. We'll be presenting on TNT Sports soon, surely.
Nah.
Maybe.
Might end.
DAZN. We'll be on DAZN. Hopefully next month we'll have some more Spencer services if he goes to a couple of those away games. But do follow us at Rebel Yell WFCSA on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Let us know what you think about this podcast. Share it around. Come see us at Woodside. 50/50 draws and memberships available at the Turnstiles, and we look forward to seeing you here for a really lovely ground experience with this new stand that opens very soon. But thanks to you, Jacko, Spencer.
No, thank you.
And we will see you next month.
See you next month.
Cheerio.